Today I'm going to show you a real hidden gem of Spain that you probably never heard about. And that's a shame. We're heading from Malaga to the incredible Cordoba, a city founded by the Romans back in the 2nd century. And we're not going there just because. We are visiting during the famous Patios festival, held every May. Hi, my name is Yuliia. I'm a Slavic girl living in Europe and speaking 5 languages. One of them is Spanish, by the way. I travel a lot around Spain and Europe, discover hidden gems, and share language learning tips and travel hacks. Be sure to subscribe if languages and traveling are also your passions. Unfortunately, Cordoba doesn't have its own airport, but it's well connected to other cities by train or bus. The closest airport is in Sevilla, then there is Malaga, only an hour away by train, followed by Jaén and then Madrid. A trip from Madrid to Cordoba takes less than 2 hours. And if you're traveling on a really tight budget, check out BlaBlaCar. Even though Cordoba isn't a huge city, it actually has more UNESCO World Heritage sites than anywhere else in the world. The historic center, the Caliphate city of Medina Azahara, the Patios festival, and the famous Mezquita, Cordoba's cathedral. Cordoba is the 3rd largest city in Andalusia and the 12th largest city in Spain, with more than 300,000 residents. It's jokingly called Spain's frying pan because summer temperatures here are some of the hottest in the country. So I personally wouldn't travel here in July or August. I filmed this video in May and the temperature difference is just shocking. 14 degrees in the morning and 25 degrees in the afternoon. That's why I'm dressed so much. Plus it was cold on the train with aircon. At this point, I still didn't know that May and June are actually considered the best months to visit. That little secret was later shared with me by a local guide. Turns out, I came exactly at the right time. Now, we're going on a meeting with our guide near the city hall, Ayuntamiento de Córdoba, and the church, Iglesia de San Pablo. I paid almost nothing for the tour, just $12.60, and honestly, didn't expect much. But wow, local tours have become something I truly value. It was only in Spain that I realized how much they can actually completely change the way you see a city. And I don't mean a local showing you their best favorite bars. Local guides are one of the best things that happened to me in Spain. I definitely recommend them if your listening comprehension is strong enough. Though, be careful with Andalusians if you're not used to the accent. Just listen the way our guide speaks.
En las guerras púnicas aquí en la península. Veremos que Escipión el africano marcó un lineal desde la zona sureste de lo que era la península hasta el suroeste, desde Cartagena hasta Huelva, conquistando pues, todos estos territorios. Pues tras los pasos de este centurión vino Marco Antonio Marcelo, que a su paso por el
After meeting Vicente, we immediately started our 2-hour tour of selected patios. Every May for 2 weeks, the city hosts Feria de los Patios Cordobeses. In 2026, it runs from May 4 to May 17. Our guide pointed out the pavement in the city. This tiny stone mosaic style is called enchinado. It's beautiful, but honestly terrible to walk on. Wanna know what locals do when they get tired of walking like that? They just step slightly to the side where there are no stones like that. No enchinado. By the way, Cordoba was one of the first medieval cities to have stone-paved streets. During the 2 weeks of celebration of this patio festival, you get the chance to see one of the city's highlights, the famous Andalusian patios. Some of them are normally closed to the public for the rest of the year. You can find maps and schedules for the open patios online or in brochures all over the city. Just keep in mind that they're closed during siesta hours. So the best time to visit is before lunch or later in the evening. Last year, the festival attracted 293,000 visitors, and many of them were Spaniards. In my tour group, I was the only foreigner. So Vicente, our guide, took us through all kinds of patios, especially focusing on the ones usually closed to visitors. And he talked so passionately about the city that the whole group completely fell for it. A real Cordobese. Again, this is why I love taking tours in Spanish with locals. Nobody tells these stories with the same fire in English. Apparently, all those years of being obsessed with Spanish since my teenage years finally paid off. Plus, living in the southern Spain helped me get used to the Andalusian accent, which honestly has a pretty terrible reputation. Back to the patios. Usually, there are around 50-60 of them. And of course, it's impossible to visit all of them, at least in one day. But honestly, you can even get tired of beauty like that. After the fifth patio, everything starts blending together in your head and it gets harder to fully appreciate all the details and charm. It's funny that even brands get involved in Spanish celebrations. For example, Lego even created its own flower patio made entirely of Lego pieces. So, how does the jury actually judge the patios? Because, yes, it's a competition and there are prizes. Here is what they look at: patio design and layout, traditional elements like arcs, columns, balconies, preservation of classic Cordoba style, number of flowers, variety of plants, color harmony, plant health, the patio's history if there is one, etc. There are so many points. Our guide was so determined to show us as much as possible that our tour, instead of 2 hours, lasted 3 hours. Everyone was exhausted from all the beauty and information overload, but incredibly grateful for how much effort he put into the experience. After the tour, I immediately went to try the local food. I mean, you can't come to Cordoba and not eat. I found this small local bar. To start, I ordered ensaladilla, Spanish style Russian salad with lots of mayonnaise and tuna instead of meat. Look at that plate, I absolutely loved the presentation. It's a really popular tapa in Spain, a small snack sized dish. Then I tried flamenquín, a fried meat roll stuffed with jamón. Other dishes I recommend: salmorejo, a cold tomato cream soup with jamón and egg, berenjenas fritas con miel, fried eggplant with honey, and one of the city's most famous dishes, rabo de toro, slow-cooked oxtail or bull tail. It was just a simple local bar, and the whole meal with drink and bread came to 1920. I realized pretty quickly that flamenquín is definitely not going to be my favorite dish. The bar was called El Lagar de Oribe. Next, let's walk through some of the city's most iconic places. The first thing you see is Puerta del Puente. It looks Roman, but it's actually Renaissance architecture from the 16th century. It was built to impress visitors as a monumental entrance to the city. Let me know in the comments if you find this impressive. Puente Romano. Remember I mentioned the Roman heritage? This bridge is over 2000 years old. Although, of course, it's been rebuilt and modified many times since then, so technically it's not fully Roman anymore. Historians still debate that. It used to be part of the ancient Via Augusta connecting Rome and Cadiz. The bridge is 331 meters long and has 16 arcs. Cars drove across it until 2004. Then it finally became pedestrian only. And look how lively it is now. It was even featured in Game of Thrones, where it represented the city of Volantis. The bridge is part of the historic center listed as UNESCO heritage. It's such a great place to walk around, listen to musicians, and just watch people. Next, we head to the Mezquita Cathedral of Cordoba, a truly unique monument where a mosque and a Catholic cathedral exist inside the same building. It's one of Spain's most famous architectural landmarks and the symbol of Cordoba. While we are walking here, let me tell you a little bit about its history. It was founded in the 8th century as the city's main mosque. It expanded several times and became one of the largest mosques in the Islamic world. In 1236, after the Christian conquest of the city, it was turned into a cathedral. In the 16th century, a Christian nave was built right inside the mosque. Inside, there are more than 850 columns, creating the feeling of endless space. The famous red and white arcs aren't just decorative, they were also an engineering solution. Right in the center stands a Catholic church built directly into the former mosque. When you buy a ticket here, you also get free access to 11 churches and 3 additional chapels, but since I arrived in the evening, all the churches were already closed, so if you visit, definitely start with the cathedral first. Plus, it's better to visit in the morning because there are very few people, and from 8:30 to 9:30 the entrance is free. Unfortunately, I arrived later, so we didn't have a chance. So this is it. It was my one day in Cordoba and showing you this charming city. Don't forget to follow and see you in the next video.